Lift the veil. Liberate your psychic abilities. A free class to develop psychic abilities. By Denise Freeman. Develop your psychic abilities. Introduction. Before we get started, I want to make a few things perfectly clear. No matter how much I wish I could simply wave my hand and you would suddenly have full-blown psychic powers, it just simply is not going to happen that way. You may be one of the lucky ones, whose abilities simply springs open, but chances are, you will be like the majority of people and have some ability, but not great ones. Also, please do not think that you will finish reading this book and immediately have your abilities at their strongest. Some people will see some result almost immediately. Some people will not see results until they have practices for many weeks or months. Everyone is different and everyone learns at a different pace. For most people, what you put into your practice is what you will get out of it. In other words, if you practice once and never practice again, you probably won't get any abilities. If you practice a little every day or two for the next few years, you will probably become a strong psychic. Most people will come somewhere between those two extremes. Think of where you are right this moment as being a baby. New babies cannot walk, talk, control their bowels, feed themselves or any of the things adults can do. But inside them is the potential for greatness. When a baby is first born, no one knows who that baby will become. He may become a history-making famous person who ends up being the best there has ever been at their chosen career. He may be just another average Joe who lives his life, gets a job, has a family and spends his entire life without ever being on television, writing a best-selling novel or performing with the next greatest rock band. What that baby ends up becoming in many ways depends on how much effort is put into learning. Some environmental factors come into play as well as some financial factors which could determine a choice in schools, but we really have no way of knowing what the child will become or what his full potential is. Your psychic abilities in most ways will be determined by the amount of effort you put into expanding them and making them grow to their fullest potential. If you choose to put in the effort, I personally believe anyone can develop basic psychic abilities. Are you willing to give it a try and see what you can do? If so, then keep reading, the best is yet to come. The right mindset. This lesson could also be called belief, however I don't want anyone to think that learning to develop your psychic abilities has anything to do with a belief in a specific God, so I chose to call it a mindset. I personally believe psychic abilities are a gift from God, but they are a gift to all of mankind, not just those that believe in a specific God. So even if you consider yourself an atheist, you can still develop your psychic abilities. If you doubt that psychic abilities even exist, chances are you will never learn to use your personal abilities. Almost any psychologist will tell you that doubt pretty much kills your chance for success in any endeavor. If you doubt you will do well on a test, chances are you will do badly. If you doubt you can learn how to play the flute, chances are you will not learn how to play the flute. On the other hand, when you believe you can learn something, you usually can. It dramatically increases your chance of success, simply by thinking you can do it. It goes even further, however, when you add to that belief a determination to succeed. When you strongly want to learn something, it is much easier to learn it. You have a confident air about you that others can see and feel, and your chance of success goes up, each and every time you affirm your determination to do it. It is important to also understand a little about the way people think about things. We literally have two minds, a conscious mind, which contains all the thinking we do in our everyday life, and our subconscious mind, which can be our best friend or our worst enemy. Because we have two minds, it is quite easy for us to say, I believe in psychic abilities, Yet our subconscious mind keeps dwelling on the many negative things you have heard regarding the abilities and manages to prevent us from being able to learn out of a misguided attempt to protect you from an unreal danger. If you in any way think that you may have doubts about the existence of psychic abilities, or if you in any way think that there is something evil about them, you must work on changing your subconscious beliefs or you will never experience full success. Anyone who has made it through high school with a basic education has heard about the Dark Ages, where people were burned at the stake for anything that even closely resembled witchcraft. To this day there are many people who place psychic abilities within the realm of witchcraft. One has only to watch some of the preachers on television on Sunday morning to know there are many who still hold on to this misguided belief. All of this can have a negative effect on you, especially if you consider yourself to be a Christian. So while you may consciously say you believe, your subconscious is sitting there telling you to forget about it. It does not exist, and this can keep you from obtaining success. The Bible talks openly of prophets from back in ancient times and foretells of future times when our children would see visions. This is nothing more than the language of ancient times using their terms to talk about psychics. If you believe, as this author does, that God created everything, then God also created psychic abilities within us, and like so many things in our world, are neither good or bad in themselves, but are good or bad depending on the purpose they are used for. No matter what religious persuasion you consider yourself to be, if there is any doubt in your mind in the existence of psychic abilities, or if you have a long-held belief that psychic abilities are from the devil or in any way bad, please start with reversing those beliefs. Look long and hard within yourself and see where those beliefs came from, so that you can let them go. If need be, work on reprogramming your mind to accept psychic abilities as both real and capable of doing good for humanity. This can be accomplished most easily through affirmations such as 1. I am psychic. 2. My psychic powers can help people. 3. Psychic powers can be used to create a better world. 4. Psychic abilities can save people from pain and suffering. There are hundreds of others you can use, but the best affirmations come from within you. Look inside and find where that doubt comes from. Is it something your parents said in your past? Did a preacher scare you with threats of damnation as a child? When you better understand where your doubt comes from, you can design an affirmation that is aimed directly as reversing the belief within you and release it so you can realize your greatest potential. Once you have the affirmation you have chosen to use, spend a few moments each morning when you first get up, looking into the mirror and saying your affirmation to the image in the mirror. Also do this the last thing at night before you go to bed. During the day, any time you have a spare few minutes, repeat the affirmation, silently if need be, as many times as you can. For most people there are literally years and years worth of being told the negative things, and all these years must be overcome. Exactly how long you need to continue this is something no one can say with any certainty. For people who did not hear a lot of negativity regarding psychic abilities, they may be able to put it all out of their subconscious minds within just a few days. People that experienced a large number of negative experiences or who were exceptionally scared during one or more of their experiences may take longer. Binaural beats. Binaural beats are a tool to help get the brain into the right mode to allow changes to happen in a person. The technique uses specific sound wavelengths to cause the brain to vibrate at a specific rate, which is known to cause a specific event or behavior within a person. As you will see in the chapter on learning about energy, all forms of energy moves in waves which can be translated into a frequency. The concept behind binaural beats is to get the brain to move to a desired frequency where the behavior that is being sought usually resides. We have known for quite some time now that when a person is asleep, their brain wave will be running within a specific range of numbers. When they awake, there is another range of numbers they will fall into. The brain waves are measured in hertz. The following chart is one of the more accepted charts to show the hertz level of the brain when it is in various frequency ranges. It is important to note that not everyone agree with these ranges. However, the vast majority are close to being the same. This author believes the reason scientists cannot 100% agree is there are small fluctuations in the numbers between various people. For instance, at 13 Hz, a person could be fully awake, yet the majority of people are fully awake at 14 Hz. From 0.01 to 3 Hz delta range very deep sleep, basically this level is completely unconscious. There is no evidence to believe that any type of dreaming goes on at this level. From 3.01 to 7 Hz theta range deep sleep, this is the level where lucid dreaming happens. Channeling happens at this level. Very deep meditation would fall in this level. From 7.01 to 14 Hz alpha range, this is the level where most dreams take place and rapid eye movement is seen. This is the level where most people go to during meditation. Psychic visions can easily happen here. Light meditation would fall in this category. From 14.01 to 21 Hz beta level, fully awake, capable of using your brain for all your normal tasks. It is important to note that all psychic visions do not happen at the alpha range. Many people will have vision while fully awakened in the beta range. However, if you are trying to induce a psychic vision, the alpha range is a good place to aim for, as it will increase the chances of having a vision. This chart only lists the very basic levels that science has accepted as the levels our brain waves are in during various stages of sleep or awareness. For years now, a growing number of homegrown scientists have been experimenting with the binaural beats technique. By measuring the brain wave activity while a person is performing a specific task, they have a pretty good basic map of which brain wave frequencies create specific types of behavior. The reverse also happens in that once someone pinpoints what they believe to be a specific frequency to cause a specific behavior, others will experiment using that frequency and attempt to recreate the behavior. Problems arose early in the experiments in that listening to a frequency that is within the normal sleep range, the subject would fall asleep. Then someone realized that by playing two different frequencies, one in each ear, the brain responded to the difference between the two frequencies. For instance, if you wanted to have the brain respond to a frequency of 3, you would play a frequency of 21.5 in one ear and 24.5 in the other. By keeping the carrier frequency above beta level, the person could remain awake much longer than someone who was hearing a pure delta level 3, yet their brain would be responding and experiencing things that normally happen in the delta range, except they are awake. It is important to note that most people cannot remain awake for a long period once their brain reaches that level, but most can remain awake longer than they can with a pure delta level tone. One additional drawback with binaural beats is that you must listen to them with stereo headphones to get the effect. It is imperative that the two tones be played in separate ears. If listening through speakers, the tones are mixing in the air prior to reaching the ear, so the brain hears only the combined tone and does not change its frequency to the desired level. As experimenting continued over the years, people started moving outside the normally accepted level and tried levels as high as kilohertz and petahertz. When dealing with these levels that are outside the normal range of a human's ability to hear, there has not been nearly as much experimentation, and accordingly, there is a huge amount of disagreement on their effects. This really is not a problem for the average person, however, because most people simply do not have the right equipment to be able to produce sound waves of that frequency, and there are plenty of ranges well within our current capabilities to keep most people happy for many years to come. Anyone wanting to experiment with making their own binaural beats can, with a little research, find all the software and frequency charts they need on the internet. The learning curve for basic operations of the software can be accomplished in a relatively short period of time. For those that don't want to fool with it, there are plenty of choices available for purchase on the internet. You can find binaural beats backed with music, positive affirmations and other combinations. You will also find a growing number of recordings offering what is known as isochroic tones or recordings. Isochroic tones are very similar to binaural beats, except it is not mandatory to use stereo headphones to listen to them. Once you are working with tones above the level where our brains are wide awake, it is not necessary to trick the brain into staying awake by vibrating at a rate that is normal during sleep. I personally have not done as much experimentation with isochroic tones and cannot attest to their effectiveness, but I will be experimenting more in the future. If you are interested in either types of tones, subliminal or self-hypnosis recordings, I have purchased from the companies listed in the resources section and found them to be reputable and have a quality product. Concentration. How strong are your concentration abilities? How long can you maintain your concentration on a single thought or item? When I ask that question, most people think they are able to maintain concentration for a long amount of time. I have had people say they can concentrate on a single item for well over an hour, but most will say at least 10 to 15 minutes. We devised a test where we gave test subjects a photo of a simple item, such as a round, red ball or a yellow star, and asked them to focus their attention on the object, allowing no other thoughts to come into their minds. Most test subjects were not able to maintain their thoughts for 15 seconds without allowing their minds to wander. The reason for the discrepancy is that most people equate concentration with simply thinking on a subject. For instance, in writing a book, the author will often stop and spend some time thinking through a train of thought. This may require them to do a little research to check out some facts, or they may simply need to get an outline of it all written down so they can work on it. This is not the type of concentration I am speaking of. In fact, this is more of studying a topic rather than just pure concentration. I am speaking of pure concentration. The ability to maintain a single thought for a period of time, without allowing your mind to wander off onto another topic or allowing other thoughts to enter your mind. It really is not an easy thing to do, and most people will rarely reach the point of maintaining that level of concentration for more than 1 minute without a lot of training and practice. The longer you can maintain that level of concentration, however, the better it is for your psychic abilities for many reasons. One reason is many times you will be doing something completely mundane, such as watching television or surfing the net, when suddenly it feels as if a weight drops on you. You may see a vision or hear words or sounds, or you may simply suddenly know something. But how correct you are will often depend on how quickly you can go from doing what you were doing, to being in complete and total concentration on the event. In the case of telepathy, when someone is sending you an unexpected signal, you may need that level of concentration to be able to receive, interpret, and in some cases, track that signal back to its source. The following are exercises you can do to help you increase your level of concentration. You can do all of the exercises or just a few. You can do them in any order you like and / or leave out the ones you don't like. The big thing is to make sure you practice some every day. If you are truly serious about developing your psychic abilities to their fullest, You will find a few minutes every day for many years to come to practice. You see, as you get older, your ability to concentrate gets weaker. So it almost requires lifelong practice to reach your fullest potential and keep it at a high level. Thankfully, however, once you have reached about as far as you can go, it only takes a minute or two each day to keep your skill honed sharp. Meditation. One of the easiest ways to increase your ability to concentrate is through meditation, because the hardest part of concentration is keeping stray thoughts from entering your mind. Meditation allows you to learn ways to gently move those stray thoughts away, yet is easier to accomplish because you are working on a train of thought versus one single thought. Read over the following meditations a few times, then close your eyes and relax while you work through one of them. If you like, you can record the meditation in your own voice, then lay back, close your eye and follow the instructions in the recording. Relaxation meditation. This meditation is designed to remove stress from your body and mind. It is very good at what it was designed for, and you may have to work on staying awake long enough to get through it. If you have problems going to sleep during this meditation, make sure you are comfortable, but sitting up before you begin. If that doesn't prevent you from falling asleep, you will have to split your focus between the meditation and staying awake. Beginning of meditation. Close your eyes and take a long, slow, deep breath in. Hold it for a few seconds, and then slowly release the breath. As you exhale, feel all the tension in your body leaving with the air as it is expelled from your body. Inhale again, slowly and deeply, and then hold it for a few seconds, before gently releasing the breath and feeling tension leaving your body. Inhale once more, slowly and deeply, filling your lungs completely. Hold it for a few seconds, and then gently release it, feeling the tension leaving your body. Breathe normally now. You are safe and secure and at peace. Every breath you take, a little more tension leaves your body, quietly and slowly, in no hurry, just in relaxing and peaceful. In your mind's eye, see yourself walking toward a stand of trees in the distance. They are beautiful trees, full of life to the point you can almost see a healthy aura glowing around this stand of trees. Keep walking towards the trees, and every step you take, you leave behind another little piece of the tension and stress of the world and allow it to simply float away so it can cause you no harm. Enjoy yourself, feel the sun warming your body. Hear the birds singing their sweet songs and taste the freshness of the air around you. This is a special place, a safe place, a relaxing place. As you get closer to the trees, see the birds flying from tree to tree, playing in the warmth of the sun. Hear their sweet song as it floats on the mild breeze blowing through the trees. And you are relaxed and at peace, happy as a lark as you walk even closer to the trees. When you arrive at the trees, walk among them. Feel the difference in the air temperature from stepping out of the hot sunlight and into the cool deepness of the forest. Do you hear that sound? It's the sound of a stream flowing easily across the land, gurgling as it flows over the rocks. Walk toward the sound of the stream. Move slowly and calmly, deeply relaxed and at peace in this wondrous place of natural beauty. When you arrive at the stream, you notice that it is not very deep, and on the other side you see an outcropping of rock that looks almost like it was placed there specifically for people to sit and enjoy the peaceful flow of the water. Step into the stream. The water is cool and delicious on your bare feet. Now walk across to the outcropping and sit on the edge, allowing your feet to dangle in the water. Sit for a few moments simply looking deeply into the water in front of you, watching it slowly gurgle by. After a few moments, you notice a pale blue light within the water. It seems almost like a cloud that has managed to become one with the water. This cloud slowly moves toward you and a feeling of wondrous peace washes over you. The cloud touches your feet and slowly starts to rise out of the water, moving up your legs, to your hips, then your tummy, all the while filling you with complete and total relaxation and peace. Allow the cloud to move upward, through your chest, down your arms, all the way to your fingers and up through your head. It feels so wonderful you decide to simply lay back and relax, with your feet still dangling in the water. After a while, you turn your head to face downstream and you see a line of little black pebbles floating from your feet and flowing downstream with the water, and you realize that the black pebbles are all the tension and pain and negativity that has been tied up in your body for so long. Just allow it to continue for a while as you grow more peaceful. All the tension is leaving your body. All the pent-up frustrations of everyday life is being washed away. Enjoy it. Lay there for a while and just relax, and when you feel like you are 100% at peace and you are ready, sit up slowly. Allowing yourself to simply enjoy the way you feel. When you are ready, slowly stand up and begin to walk back across the stream and back up to the trees, going back the way you came. Walk through the trees in a completely relaxed state. Enjoying every step, being thankful for the peace, quiet, happiness and love you are experiencing. Walk all the way through the trees and back into the sunlight and slowly make your way back home, taking the peace and relaxation with you. When you are ready, you can open your eyes and return to the world around you. Rhythmic breathing meditation. This is a simple meditation that can be used to distress your body when you only have a few minutes to work in, or it can be done for longer periods of time when you have more. At the end of this meditation there will be some variations you can use to allow this to help other things in your life. Start of meditation. Sit quietly, with your back as straight as possible and breath in slowly to a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4. Then release to a count of 4 and hold no breath to a count of 4. Then repeat as many times as you have time for. Your goal here is to keep the 4 counts rhythmic so that each count of 4 takes the same amount of time. Concentrate just on the breath, on getting the timing of each breath correct. If you have a hard time working with a count of 4, it is fine to change to a count of 3 or even 2 if it works better for you. Just don't breathe too fast or you could hyperventilate. If stray thoughts start to enter your mind, gently push them to the side, allowing them to float away. Variations. Once you master this breathing technique, you can add a form of chanting to it. As you breathe in, say I am, in a drawn-out way that takes the entire 4 count of breath. As you hold it to the count of 4, say Pychic, also taking the entire 4 count. Repeat as you breath out so it becomes a rhythmic I am Pychic along with the rhythm of your breath. If you are having problems with any other aspect of your life, you can adapt the chant as needed. For instance, a person having health problems may say I am healthy, or a person working on strengthening their body could say, I am strong. Almost any positive affirmation can be said during the breathing exercise to give it more strength. When designing a positive affirmation, the main rule to follow is to word it as if what you want to happen is a reality. Don't say I am getting healthy because that implies you are not already healthy and your subconscious mind gives you what you are thinking about. You could literally end up sick. Always stick to the I am ______ format and you will be fine. Apple meditation. This is a simple meditation that if done correctly, will leave you with your mouth watering, wanting an apple. Of course if you don't like apples, your mouth may not water, so if this is the case, feel free to substitute a different type of fruit, one that you really like. Find a place where you can sit comfortably for at least 5 to 15 minutes. You may lie down if you can stay awake in that position, sit in the traditional crossed leg or lotus pose, or simple sit in a chair where your back is straight and supported. Spend a few moments with your eyes closed, slow breathing in and slowly letting it out. Aim for a slow and easy breath that allows tensions to release from your body. When you are fully relaxed, visualize an apple. It can be any type of apple you prefer. The goal is to make the apple appear as real as possible in your mind's eye. See the color of the apple and notice that the color is not a solid shade of any one color. What colors are in your apple? It may have small amounts of yellow, brown, green and numerous shades of reds, or there could be any number of other colors in it. Whatever you see in your apple is perfectly fine. Now slowly start to turn the apple while examining every aspect of the apple. Are there any nicks in the skin? Are there any bruises on it? Does it still have some of the limit groove from attached to it? Would it sit flat on a table if you set it down, or would it fall over? How does the apple feel in your hand? Can you guess what its weight might be? Can you smell the apple's scent on the air? Can you feel the coolness of the apple in your hand? Spend a while continuing to notice everything about the apple. Make it as real of a vision as possible. When you are ready, set the apple down and back away from it. Raise your eyes and you can see the room you were in is only a few steps in front of you. Walk towards the room and when you step into it, slowly open your eyes and begin to move and stretch your body as you become fully awake. Negativity Drain Meditation. I prefer to do this meditation outdoors on a nice warm afternoon, but if you live in an apartment or the weather is too cold, feel free to lie down on the floor in any convenient place where you will not be bothered for a while. Get your body into a comfortable position. Put a pillow under your head if need be. You can also add one in the curve of your back if you have back problems. Just make sure you are completely comfortable and can stay in that position for 5 to 15 minutes. Now tighten every muscle in your body. Your arms, legs, fingers and toes should be tightened, your neck, face, chest, stomach and buttocks should be tightened. Take a moment and use your mind to move around your body, checking every muscle to see if it is tightened as much as possible. When you are 100% sure every muscle is tightened, suddenly allow every muscle to relax. Every muscle in your body should go from being tightened as much as possible to being as loose as possible, as quickly as possible, so you end up laying there without any muscle tension in your body. Now close your eyes and visualize a stream of pure white light coming from out of the center of the universe and entering into the top of your head. As the light streams into your body, notice that all the negativity in your mind and body starts to drain out of your body. Let it drain into the ground, or floor, and deep into the earth where it can be recycled into something better. Allow the light to slowly fill your entire body and watch all your problems, all your anger, all the tension, all your fears and anything that is not healthy for you, simply drain, drip by drip out of your body and into the earth. Once your body is completely full of the white light, you can stop the stream from entering your head and just allow the white light to remain inside of you for a few moments. Enjoy the peace it brings. When you are ready, allow the white light to start to drain out of your body, just like the negative energy did. Let it drain all the way into the earth so it can help the earth process the negativity that drained from you earlier. When you feel like all the white light is gone and you are ready, slowly get up and go on about your day. Note, it is important to drain the white light from your body in your visualization. Many people who have chosen to not drain the white light, find themselves tense and on edge for a few days afterward due to the energy differences between the white light and what their own body normally carries. Protection. Anytime you are working with psychic abilities, it is always best to keep some sort of protection up around you. In fact, these days with the world in such constant turmoil, it is actually a good idea to keep protection around you and your family on a regular basis, but that is another story for another book. Why do you need protection? When working with psychic abilities, you are opening yourself up to receiving energy from sources you are not familiar with. Energy in and of itself is neither good or bad, it is the intent behind the use of the energy that makes it positive or negative, good or bad, light or dark. There are people and entities that are not on a path of light and who actually seek out opportunities to harm others. The vast majority of the time, if you are receiving energy from a negative entity or person, it is because it is specifically aimed at you for some reason. In other words, you are under a psychic attack. It is possible, however, to accidentally pick up some of these negative energies. This is why you should do something to protect yourself before starting any psychic work. It is the energies being sent consciously at you that you want to protect yourself and your family from on a regular basis. Please do not think that you are safe because you do not deal with people that are negative like that. Many times, people are sending out negative energies without even realizing it. Anyone that has something another person may be jealous of, could be on the receiving end of a psychic attack, without the sender even realizing they are doing it. People often cannot let go of situations that made them angry and will put concentration on the negative subject, often going so far as seeing the person of their jealousy being harmed. While most of the people that do these things are not well versed in directing the energies they are sending out, always remember that the energies are being sent, even if they are not realizing they are doing it. If they are jealous of your job, home, car, children, spouse, money, jewelry or anything else you have that they may want, they can be psychically attacking you on a regular basis. How do you know if you are under attack? More often than not, you find yourself in the middle of a long stream of things going wrong. Multiple items will break down at the same time, you lose multiple things, everyone in your home gets sick, the dog disappears or suddenly starts going through the neighbor trash cans. You have a flat tire on your way to work. The babysitter catches the flu and can't watch your children, and you have a career-making appointment today. You forget your lunch, the milk is spoiled and so on and so on. We tend to see those times as nothing more than a string of bad luck, but you will find those types of things happen much less often if you make a regular practice of setting up protection around yourself and your family. Protection can be as simple as a 3-minute daily meditation, or as elaborate as placing various types of talisman around the edges of your property. The biggest difference between the two is the meditation needs to be done as close to every day as possible. The talismans only need to be recharged once a year or so. Protection meditation. Begin by going through your normal procedure for relaxing and getting ready to meditate. When you are ready, visualize a stream of brilliant white light coming from the universe and entering into the top of your head. As the light enters your head, visualize it filling your head. See your head start to glow from within as the light continues to fill it. When your head is full of light, visualize the light moving further down within your body and allow it to fill your entire body. In your mind's eye, see your body glowing from within. Feel the warmth of the light as it glows within you. Continue to allow the light to fill every single inch of your body. Once your body is completely full of the white light, see the light starting to extend beyond the edges of your body and glow around you. Feel its warmth on your skin. You may feel a slight tingling, almost like a small amount of electricity. Enjoy the feeling and watch as the light becomes stronger and stronger as more and more light enters into the top of your head. For personal protection, visualize the white light surrounding your entire body to about 5 to 6 feet around you in all directions. For family protection, you can visualize building your protection, then see an arm of light move from you to wherever your loved one is, and allow it to surround them in a ball of light such as yours. To protect your home, car and property, see the light grow larger and larger until all of these items are within its protective sphere. When you first start setting up a protective shield such as this, it may take a little longer to set up. After you have been doing it for a while, you can almost instantly see everything and everyone you want to protect, within the sphere of light. It will not take nearly as long to set up and strengthen the protection when you reach this point. Getting to the point of almost instant results should be your goal. If at any time you feel as if you are in an unsafe area, whether it is unsafe because of a risk of physical attack or from psychic attack, you can put up this shield of white light for protection. It will also protect you from any type of intentional or unintentional psychic attack that someone may throw your way. Doing this daily creates a shield that gets strong as time goes on. The shield never ceases to exist, though some of its energy dissipates and moves on for other uses. However, building it daily can result in an extremely strong shield. Learning about energy. When anyone mentions the word energy, most people automatically think about the greatest sources of energy we use in our everyday lives: electricity, oil in all its many forms, and natural gas. Energy is actually much more involved than those three types. Energy is the very backbone of our world and the universe around us. Most people understand that matter is what we can physically see, touch and feel in the world around us. The chair we sit on, the clothes we wear, the food we eat and our own bodies, are all types of matter, and for the most part, when we think about matter we think of something as being solid and real in the world around us. However, everything in our world is actually comprised of energy in different wavelengths. For instance, if you take an atomic microscope and look at a piece of the desk you sit at, you will see that deep down inside, on the atomic level, the desk is not solid. You will see atoms moving about, almost like they are swimming. How is it possible that something that feels solid to us can have atoms moving within it? How can a desk hold up a computer if the very core of its being is effectively a liquid? It is because of the way energy moves and reacts to other types of energy. All energy moves in wavelengths. You have probably seen a TV show or movie in which there is an old-fashioned, huge computer with a screen that has a wavy line running across it. That wave line is a representation of the wavelength of the sound or energy source they are measuring. Energy moves in waves, and different types of energy moves in different wavelengths. A wavelength is a measurement that is effectively the distance between the top and bottom of a wave. When two items have a different wavelength, they cannot mesh together. In other words, one item will seem solid to the other, or they could both seem solid to each other. That is where our material world comes in. Your computer does not simply slide down into your desk because their energy wavelengths are different. Let's go on to the next step. Light and sound also have their energy signatures or wavelengths. Heat is an energy form. Literally everything within our world and our universe is a form of energy, and all these different energies react in different ways to each other. The next concept that is a little hard for people to understand is that energy never dies. It can change forms or transmute into a different form, but it does not die and simply go away as it appears to from our limited perspective. We can easily understand that when a plant dies, its limbs and leaves will eventually rot and become part of the earth itself. Part of the physical dirt and rock our plant is made of. But our minds then think of those limbs and leaves as having stopped existing, and this is not true. The energy of those limbs and leaves, transmuted into soil, the limbs and leaves are still there, but they have changed forms, and it is the same for everything on our world and in our universe. Have you ever heard the saying, each one of us has a little bit of stardust inside us? This is where that saying comes from. Everything that has ever been, still exists. It simply changed forms. It may now be something we cannot see because our normal senses are limited in what they can deal with, but that does not change the fact that it still exists. Think about what this means. The words we speak are comprised of sounds which are another form of energy. So every word that has ever been spoken still exists. It may be in a different form that is completely irrecognizable to us, but it still exists. Our thoughts are also energy. Every thought that any person or creature on this earth or anywhere within the entire universe has had, still exists. Nothing has ceased to exist since the beginning of time. This is a major concept to grasp hold of, so if you have any doubts about its accuracy, study a few physics books and you will see what I am saying is proven through scientifically verifiable testing. As a person moves through their daily life, they leave an energy signature. Their thoughts leave an energy signature, their words leave an energy signature. As a psychic, you are picking up and reading those energy signatures. We call these energy signatures fine energy. People who doubt in the existence of psychic abilities point to the fact that scientists cannot measure this fine energy signature we all leave in our paths. In their minds, if it cannot be measured, it does not exist, yet science proves that line of thinking is not correct. We know that earthquakes cause disturbances in the area in which they are going to happen, long before the earthquake starts. Animals can often sense this and will become nervous. Those that are not penned up have been known to leave the area a few hours before an earthquake hits. Yet science cannot measure that energy that they are sensing. It stands to reason then that if there is one type of energy that scientists cannot measure, chances are there are more than one type of energy they cannot measure. As a psychic, you are picking up on these fine energy signatures and reading, understanding what they mean. How you personally read the fine energies is something that is special to you personally. By this I mean some people will feel the energies, some see them, some hear them, and some simply know what they mean. Take this even further. Of the people that feel the energies, different people will feel them in different locations on their body. Some will feel it in their heads. Some will feel it in the hands. Some feel it in their stomach. Literally any part of your body can be your receiving point. As if that was not complicated enough, for many people it is through the use of two or more senses reacting together that they receive and understand information. For instance, I had a student back in the 80s that had exceptional visualization skills. Almost every spoken word she heard would cause an image to appear in her mind. Obviously, most of the time she was only hearing things from the normal waking world around her, but if her left big toe twitched while she was receiving an image, she knew that image had special meaning and needed to be worked with. How you personally receive and process information is unique to you. Most people either see or hear information, and if there is another clue to the information, it tends to be the stomach. But it could be any place on your body that responds to the energy signature. It is even possible for it to be 2 or 3 places on your body that responds. So when you first start learning to pick up psychic energies, you have to pay attention to the whole you. Your body can give you clues and they may be subtle, but with repeated practice you will begin to see patterns that you can focus on to bring your own personal abilities to the forefront. Practice. There are 2 distinctive ways in which psychics work, either with the use of tools or not. By tools I mean things such as tarot cards, a pendulum, angel cards, a crystal ball, gemstones, a skrieg dish or some other tool. Of course some psychics will use tools sometimes and not at other times. But for the purpose of practice in this book, we see them as requiring 2 separate types of knowledge. Unless you have already had many psychic experiences, I urge you to start by using tools to help you connect with the flow of energy. When you use tools, a wondrous thing starts to happen. Psychic abilities without the use of tools tends to dramatically increase as you improve at using the tools. It seems that once you start connecting to the flow of energy, it likes to keep flowing your way. For obvious reasons, this book will not be a complete course on every type of psychic tool that is available to you, but we will cover some of the basics to help you decide which tool you would like to experiment with first. Keep in mind, you can always change tools at any time. If you are not getting results from one tool, feel free to try a different one. Eventually it is actually a very good idea to work with all the many tools available to you. Think of it as getting a well-rounded education. Pendulum. If you are on a budget, a pendulum will probably be your best choice of tools to start with because you do not have to buy a pendulum, even though there are some very nice ones available on the market. If you have a piece of thread or lightweight string and a ring you are emotionally attached to, you can quickly make a very usable pendulum at any time. Your thread should be between about 12 and 20 inches long. The length has more to do with the length of your arm from elbow to wrist than anything. If you have a longer arm, go for a longer string. If you have little short arms like mine, the shorter string is better. Simply thread the string through the ring and allow the ring to hang freely with the ends of the string in your hand. It is best to use a ring that will hang evenly. If the ring is off balance, it can make the pendulum swing off balance and a little hard to read. Hold the strings in your dominant hand and use your other hand to stop the ring if it is swinging. Ask the question, which way is yes, then hold your hand still but not rigid. If the ring does not start to move immediately, repeat the question several times until it starts to move. Most of the time, the ring will swing either straight out from your body and then back toward the body, or from side to side. In both cases, it tends to be fairly evenly in the middle. It is possible, however, that you will be shown an off-center swing for either yes, no, or both of them. Whatever shows up is right for you. Once you are getting an obvious swing in a single direction, use your other hand to stop the swing again. This time ask the question, which way is no? Then allow the ring to begin to swing. Most of the time, the ring will swing in the opposite way that it swung for a yes answer. But it could choose any type of a swing, including swinging in a circle. As long as it does not swing in the exact same direction as the yes answer, accept the swing as being what you will get every time your question is answered with a no response. The main limitation of using a pendulum is that you can basically get only yes and no answers without getting into some detailed and highly subjective use of charts and graphs which are well beyond a beginner's level. For now, stick to yes and no questions. With a little thought you can ask a series of questions that will get you an answer by using nothing more than yes and no questions. For instance, suppose a person wanted to know the name of the man she would be marrying at some future point in her life. She could start by asking, will I ever get married? If the answer is yes, she could proceed to ask, will his name start with an O, then B, C, etc., etc. Once the first letter is found, she could then ask about some of the common names that start with that letter, such as Mike, Mark, Mitch, etc., if the first letter is an M. It can take a little effort to get to this point, but keep in mind at this point, you need all the practice you can get, and this gives you plenty of practice to make your efforts stronger in the future. Pendulums have been used for thousands of years to find the answers to questions we have in our lives, and there is virtually an unlimited number of questions you may want to ask. They can even help you find a lost object, such as your car keys. If you have misplaced your keys, stand in the middle of the room with your pendulum. Face an outer wall of your home and ask, are my keys somewhere in front of me? If the answer is no, change direction and ask again. Keep in mind while wording your question, the keys could be in front of you but in a different room. You can always ask, are my keys in this room and somewhere in front of me? Just move through your house from room to room, facing each of the directions until you get a yes answer that the keys are in front of you. You should then be able to concentrate on that area and find them. If you find you enjoy working with the pendulum, you might consider taking a class on the subject that goes into much greater detail than this ebook will allow. Skreeg mirror. A Skreeg mirror is probably the next least expensive method to be involved with. All you need to make a mirror is a clear glass plate or an inexpensive frame with a glass in it and some black acrylic paint. On many occasions, I have found a plain, clear salad plate at my local Dollar Tree store that works perfectly. I have also found a lot of nice frames, especially older ones at my local Goodwill store. You can get a bottle of plain black acrylic paint at Walmart, Michael's, Hobby Lobby or any other craft store. The small bottles that cost about $1 each work perfectly fine. Place some old newspaper on the table and turn your plate upside down on top of them. Using any old brush, paint the entire back side of the plate black. Allow it to dry and put a second coat on. After the second coat has dried completely, turn your plate over and look into it, trying to see the paint on the back side to see if you missed any small places. If so, repaint them and allow it to dry again. Skreeg is best done at night, by the light of the full moon. But at other times of the month when the moon is not full, if you live somewhere that is not safe to be outside at night or if it happens to be cloudy or bad weather, you can use a small candle in a dark room. If you use a candle, make sure to use it safely. Ensure it is sitting on a sturdy table and that it will not be knocked over. Also remove any flammable materials that could accidentally get caught in the flame. Align the plate in the middle between you and the candle. Adjust the items so the candle does not reflect directly off the glass surface, but light illuminates the plate. Get yourself into a comfortable position and allow your eyes to fall upon the surface of the plate. Don't stare at the plate because that causes your body to start to tense up. Simply look at the plate and allow your vision to relax. If after several attempts to SCRY looking at the mirror, try looking just beyond it. Some people get better results this way. It took me 4 tries of over 30 minutes each time before I saw my first image. I had a tendency of tightening up trying to force the vision to come. What you want to do is allow it to come. Stay relaxed but somewhat mentally focused on the plate so you will know what an image is when you see it. Your eyes may go somewhat unfocused. That is perfectly fine and precedes a vision for many people. Simply allow it to happen as you continue to pay attention to any images you may be seeing. Many people see what appears to be a cloudy or smoky image appearing in the mirror. It is usually reported as being gray in color, but I have had people report they saw a specific color cloud. For some people, this cloud moves away leaving an image or movie, while other people see the cloud transform into an image. Whatever happens for you is right for you. There is no 100% perfect way for everyone. These images are exactly what you want to have happen. The images are giving you clues into the information you are receiving. What the images mean is based on symbolism most of the time, though there are people who will see a virtual movie of what is going to happen or a still picture of the exact moment of a past, present or future event. If you ask Skreeg for an answer for yourself, when you see an image, see if that image has any meaning for you. If you see a pink rose in the mirror and your deceased mother was known for her pink roses, it's a pretty good bet you are getting an acknowledgement about your mother. It may mean she wishes to have contact with you. If you are screaming for someone else, ask them if the image you saw has any meaning for them. It could be pointing to the place in their life where they will find the answers they are seeking. If the image seems to have no meaning behind it that you can easily recognize, look at the symbology behind the image. Try Google for help with the symbols by entering meaning of underscore 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 as the search term. Most of the time, this returns a wide variety of meanings, based on different cultures from different time periods. It could very well be something from a past life that is coming to the forefront. My heritage in this life is mainly English, Irish and German, but there is a tiny bit of Native American in the mix. Yet I often see symbolism that is obviously Native American. I know I had a prior life on the Great Plains some time before the white man came to America, so this is probably my connection to this symbolism. If you know your connection to a prior culture, this is a good place to start to find out what the symbolism means. Psychometry. Psychometry is the ability to receive and interpret psychic energies by touching an object or seeing a photo of a person. I am sure you have seen movies or TV shows where they show someone touching an object and suddenly they are transported, in their minds, to various people and places the owner of the object had been. It rarely happens that way, but they are using psychometry. The best way to learn to use psychometry is to have a friend to work with. Each of you should find an object that belongs to someone the other person does not know, or barely knows, and then swap your objects. This way, you can both have an object to read, but also have someone with knowledge of the person who can verify whether your feelings are correct or not. The process is actually quite simple in that you simply hold an object, or look at a photo of a person and allow your mind and body to relax. As you see images within your mind's eye, look for images that leave you with a feeling that there is meaning behind them, and if you do not understand what the images are telling you, simply try to follow the image. I will often visualize myself stepping into the image and looking around. This often leads to some very detailed responses I can give a client. Of course, you will want to go through a relaxation process prior to attempting to read an object, but this is a given on any type of psychic work. For some people, psychometry is a great way to start their psychic training. It allows you to take your time in allowing the images to appear, yet does not require a long period of learning such as tarot cards. For others, psychometry never seems to work for them. I have yet to find any specific thing within my students that allows me to know beforehand which will pick it up immediately and which won't. At the same time, many of my students that cannot pick it up in the early stages of training will often see the ability happen spontaneously at some future point in time, once they have mastered some other method of accessing their psychic abilities. I guess it is simply another one of the mysteries of our world. Journaling. I'm sure you realize there are some people who believe in psychic abilities and some who don't, and of course, there are some that never will until the day it walks up and smacks them in the face. This author believes there is a very good explanation for why this happens, and journaling may be able to prove it to you. Let's start with a how to journal. It is really quite simple. Get a notebook of any type you feel comfortable with, or if you are like me and seem to be attached at the hip to your computer, set up a word processing document specifically for journaling. Each day, make an entry in your journal that contains the following: the date, the weather including temperature, phase of the moon, how you are feeling, any thought, ideas, visions, etc., etc., that you believe might have a psychic air about them, even if you do not understand what it is. What this author believes happens is that just like different people sense psychic input in various ways, different people are also their best with psychic abilities in different conditions. For instance, my abilities seem to kick into high gear if there is a storm brewing, or if I am somewhere that is fairly windy. I have known other people that had almost no results in their attempts except on the night of the full moon. I have also known women whose abilities go away when they are on their time and others whose abilities kick into overdrive at that time. One of the points of journaling is to find what conditions are best for you personally. If you track daily all of the above conditions, even on days where you did not receive any type of impression, you can start to see trends that will give you a clue on when to schedule the majority of your practice. This does not mean you should only try on those specific types of days, because often once an ability starts to open, others will begin to emerge and different abilities can be at their best during different conditions. However, if you are limited in time to practice, it only makes sense to practice when you are the most apartment to get results. There is a second aspect of this also. There are times when we simply do not understand what a specific impression actually means. I went through over a week of having the same dream over and over when my son was small. My entire, huge, family was in a car going on a trip through the woods for a picnic. We found a spot next to a culvert at a drainage ditch and everyone was sitting in the car eating when suddenly the water rose up out of the ditch, picked the car up with everyone in it and down into the culvert we went. Try as I might, I could not figure out what this one meant, but I knew because the dream kept repeating there was something I was supposed to learn for this dream. Without me knowing it, my son had stuck several of his Matchbox cars into the toilet and flushed. It did not flood then, but the next time I flushed, major problems. We worked for days trying to unstop it ourselves till we finally called a plumber who found all the cars. I never had the dream again. At times, you can receive impressions that simply don't make sense, yet they will have the air about them that you simply cannot let go of. By journaling these impressions, when something does happen, you can go back in your journal and compare the two instances. It is possible also that the impressions you are receiving are not meant for you but for someone else. It could even be meant for someone you do not know yet. By journaling them, you can actually show them when you had the impression, which can provide proof that your impression was actually psychic in nature and not just one of those things our brains latch onto occasionally. I have had several people who ended up in my journal on several occasions, and by seeing it in writing, long before the actual event took place, they came to realize that if I told them something, they needed to pay attention to what I was saying, and they became a believer in psychic abilities. Tarot card reading. Of all the various tools you can use to bring your psychic abilities out into the open, tarot cards are by far the most popular. Each year, there are several new decks which emerge on the market, and when you choose which deck you prefer to use, there are literally hundreds of decks to choose from. If you have never worked with tarot cards before, I strongly suggest as your first deck you purchase a Rider-Waite deck. A huge number of teachers use this deck with their students, and the vast majority of the material available to help you learn to read them is written from this deck. Tarot cards are images designed to tap into your subconscious mind and help you to connect with the universal flow of energy. The basics of what the symbols mean can be learned much like anything else, via memories RTO. However, a truly great card reader will go way beyond simply telling a client what the basic meanings of the cards are. They are capable of pulling bits and pieces of information from the cards and rolling it into a story that gives the client an exceptionally good idea of what to expect. If you think tarot cards may be a good choice for you to learn to tap into your psychic abilities, I strongly suggest you find a group to join that helps each other to learn. The exact methods you personally will use in your readings will evolve as you learn more and more about them, and you need to have people to work with that can help guide you in the right direction. Of course, there are many great books on the subject available for beginners. The one that is right for you will let you know when you have found the right one. Simply pay attention to how you feel in your mind and body while looking for a book and you will be fine. If you need a place to purchase your cards and / or books, please check the resources section of this ebook for a list of businesses we have done business with in the past. Listening. In too much of our world these days, life has become so hectic that we are subjected to a constant stream of noise. People speaking, cars honking, airplanes flying overhead, dogs barking, computer keys clicking, fan mowers blowing, the wind blowing, engine running, cell phones, heck even the power lines over our heads give off a slight hum. If all the other noise around us would just quiet down so you could actually hear it. In order to maintain our sanity in our noisy world, we have learned to tune out the majority of the noises we hear and only pay attention when someone is speaking who we need to listen to. Anytime you start closing off your senses, you are shutting down pathways to the universal knowledge that we are all hooked to. How are you supposed to receive a message via clairaudience, clear hearing, if you have shut off your ability to hear everything except a person speaking to you? Plus, most people do not realize that we are capable of hearing with more than just our ears. It is possible to receive information via any part of our body, yet it presents to us via the ears. This is why many people hear things that no one else hears. The other person had not learned to listen to their body to hear answers. Luckily, this is an easy one to learn and can actually be very enjoyable, especially if you like the outdoors. Find a place you can sit outdoors and be undisturbed for 10 to 15 minutes. If you live where it is not safe to be outdoors, especially with your eyes closed, try to find an open window to sit next to. Take a few moments to relax your mind and body, allowing all of the day's tensions to float away, leaving you in perfect peace. Now simply listen. You may hear a ringing sound that can be either faint or very loud. This is common and in its worst form is called tinnitus, but it may also be the Earth's voice you are hearing. Remember our lesson on energy. The Earth is also composed of energy and it has its own energy signature. Some people are very capable of hearing the Earth sound. Now try to get past that initial sound. What else do you hear? Make a mental note of what you are hearing. At this moment, I hear my husband typing at the computer. The attic fan is running and since I am in my little office, it fairly well blocks out other sounds I can hear from the back deck. When I am on the deck, I heard birds singing, the wind blowing through the trees, often there is the mating call of the frogs at the creek. There are often squirrels sitting in the tree fussing at one of my cats and when it is extremely quiet, I can hear the water splashing its way down the creek at the end of our street. If I need to make a decision on something and I can't decide what to do based only on logic, I will sit on the back deck and ask the question to the wind, then sit back and simply listen. As I reach my senses out to all the various sounds around my home, the vast majority of the time it is only a few minutes before the answer to my question hits me. At times I hear it spoken almost as a voice in my ear. Other times, I see the answer so clearly in my mind's eye and still other times a vision of the answer will appear before me. The point here is, if you do not take the time to stop and listen, you will probably miss so much information that is being given to you. There are times I think the reason life is so hectic is because those in power don't want us to take the time to stop and listen. They want to keep that little secret to themselves because it is a very powerful way of opening up your psychic abilities. Trust your intuition. Of all the various tips and techniques that have been mentioned in this ebook, the one piece of advice I give you that is more powerful than everything else combined is to trust your intuition. If you receive information and choose to not use it, you will slowly kill off the abilities you have worked so hard to develop. Trust and belief in our abilities is extremely important. It shows your inner self that you really do not trust your abilities, which is akin to saying you don't believe they exist. Your subconscious mind takes over and your abilities cease to exist. As you learn to trust your abilities, they become stronger and stronger, more capable of providing better, clearer answers to your questions. In some ways, it is like being an athlete. In the early stages you are nowhere near the best in your chosen field, but with practice, you can become one of the top players as you get better and better. Psychic abilities work the same way. In the early stages it can be hard for some people to accept they have abilities because they just don't work very well, but once you get that first vision or prediction under your belt, it gets easier and easier. Always believe in yourself and your abilities. Practice your abilities at every opportunity and trust the information you receive and you will be fine.